Hey loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. My name is Abby and today we are going to be talking about tarot, and this video was chosen last week by the patrons, but I didn't get to post it last week because it was the holidays. It was pretty crazy. I was at my family's. It was just like I've been getting a little bit backed up, so we're going to be talking about it today. And then the poll is going up next week, so basically essentially it kind of skipped the holidays, but there's gonna be another video next week as well, so we're gonna be back in schedule. It's just like running around and seeing my family has been a little bit crazy. So yeah, so we're gonna talk about this video. I have a couple of updates. So I am currently working on the shop update to my apothecary, which is going to be pretty amazing. And I am going to be just working on the products very extensively for the next couple of weeks, especially making sure that I'm working with the upcoming moons and eclipses that are coming up very quickly upon us. I'm really excited to share all of the things, all of the magical things that I've been working on. But I'm not making them just yet. I'm gonna start making them very soon because I have it timed. It's like a plot with the moon. So yeah, so I have it timed for specific times, just so I know everything is fresh, with a powerful intention, and everything is good to go. So when it launches officially, it's ready to go. Okay, so yeah, so I've been very quiet. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been a little bit quiet. If you follow me on Twitter, I did start doing, on Twitter, there's going to be Astro Today posts, which I just look at the chart, pick an aspect, and just give you a little tidbit of how you can use the energy. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. The link is going to be down below. But yes, so this is going to be the Patreon video for this week. And we're gonna get started. So this video is about how to use tarot in spell work, in ritual work, and why you should be using it if you don't know how to, if you haven't been using it, or if you don't know how to do it, why you should be doing it. Now, I recommend, first and foremost, my first tip before you do this, you do have to have a relationship with your deck. You have to have a relationship with each card. You have to have a relationship with the card you're picking as per the spell that you're doing it for, okay? So I'm going to be showing you guys two different decks, because you can do this with oracle decks as well. So I'm going to be showing you two different decks and how I'm telling you would be the best way to do this. So, for example, and you can do this for literally like almost any spell. I mean, not all ritual work will require you using tarot, but tarot will take the form of a visualization of sorts. And I do this a lot when I'm doing like money spells for clients or for myself, or when I'm doing glamour spells as well. I would use this too, and the Empress is one that I use for that. And what you do is that before you start kind of prepping your ritual, okay, so let's say you wanted to do a glamour spell, and you were trying to attract someone in fairly quickly, or someone who's a little more stable, or someone who will show you their emotions, or someone who just has a way with words, right? So the way you would use the deck for that is that you would take the cards that would be associated to the story that you're kind of putting together, what the manifestation would look like when it comes forth in real life. One of the things that people always do with tarot is that they will do a reading, and they will right off the bat wish that they would hope that the cards look a certain way, and then something else comes up and you're just like, oh Jesus, and then tarot kind of drags you. This is basically you taking the deck and saying, hey, okay, I get it, this is what you guys want me as far as reading goes, this is what the cards say, however, this is what I want my spell to do. So those are two different things that we're doing. We're not, if you want to, you can read your cards before you use a spell. You should do that anyway, but this is two different things. So one is doing divination, the other is using tarot as a visual representation of your manifestation, okay? That rhymed. So for example, continuing on, so if you wanted to do again a glamour spell, you're gonna want like that Venus energy, that love energy, and you do want to have a relationship to each card, because for example, my relationship to some cards might be very different from your relationship to those cards, or from other readers' relationship to the cards. So like I'll give you an example to a card that I have a different relationship to that everybody else has another whole type of relationship with, as soon as I find it. Hold on. As soon as, watch it be at the end what I said. Okay, so for example, as far as like having a relationship with a card that, you know, other people might have a different relationship to, this one, for example, the Devil card. So I have a very different relationship to this card than somebody else might, because one, I am a Capricorn. This is my card in tarot. And visually to me, it means more than just what the book says. Especially when it comes to astrologically, especially with what the other cards are around it. If I'm using Capricorn energy and then you just see a whole bunch of other stuff around it that are very more negative, especially in a reading, then obviously is leaning towards that. But if you're seeing the Devil card come up and then the whole cards around it are just like amazing, then it is coming from a different place of Capricorn energy. So I interpret it very differently than other readers do. When I see it come up, I don't necessarily jump into thinking, oh my god, I'm getting cursed, something's happening, there's negative vibes here, I don't automatically jump into that, because it's just not factual anyway, as per this card. So yeah, so I might use this in a spell for something else. So like, let's say I'm working on like career and I wanted to empower myself and make sure I have a steady foundation, and that I am making sure that those chains right there are actually keeping me in place, so I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. So you see what I'm saying about your relationship with the card matters? That's what I mean. So your relationship with the cards will make and add to the ritual work that you're doing, and will intensify the intention. So you just have to make sure, if you don't read tarot, I wouldn't recommend doing this right off the bat, because you're just going to be using the cards as you're just not going to know. The point is to tap into those deeper meanings, tap into your subconscious mind, tap into that that third eye, be able to manifest from visual. Because when you go through the whole entire deck, there's so many beautiful cards, so many positive cards, so many, like, there's definitely negative cards, and up in the air cards. There are cards that could go either way. They could be both good or bad. So it's important to have a relationship with the deck before you do this. One of the other cards that I would like, for example, if you're trying to do a ritual or for spiritual development, for example, you can whip out the High Priestess or the Moon card, or the Star card, or the Judgment card if you're doing work with the ancestors. If you wanted to heal some negative parts of your mind and do a lot of mental healing work, you can use the Three of Swords in your ritual work. If you wanted to kind of take a break and enlighten yourself from a situation, you can use the Hangman. There's different things that you can use, and different tools in here that literally will paint a picture of what you're trying to do. If you're trying to heal trauma, you can use a Nine of Swords as a visual representation of that. If you're trying to call in abundance and call in money and prosperity, you can use the Nine of Pentacles. So definitely make sure that you're kind of going through the deck and seeing what your initial gut reaction to each card is, how you feel about it, why you feel the way they do. Do you feel like he's falling off the cliff, or do you think he's about to fly with his wings? What is your relationship to this card? Because it might be different than mine. And when it comes to manifesting people, and I do have to mention this as soon as I find one of the, hold on. All right, also manifesting physical and opportunities, you can use the aces in those as well. They're really good and powerful, especially when you're trying to pull from the Magician. Working with the Magician card is a very powerful thing to do. It's a very powerful tool, because you're choosing which one you're trying to call in as a visual representation. You're trying to call in that's going to be for your journey, for your long term. You're trying to call in something that's going to manifest in the physical realm that you could feel, touch, an experience that's going to bring value to your life. So there's different ways to do it. Hold on, let me find, I'm trying to make a point and I haven't found the, hold on. So, okay, here, to make the point that I'm trying to make. So let's say you're trying to call in a partner. You're going to want to use the knights. And yes, I know that they're in a masculine like form in this. If you wanted to use the king or queens, or you can use that too. But the reason why I'm telling you to use the knights is because they move differently, okay? The kings and queens already established themselves on a higher level. The knights they're able to eventually or be kings and queens. It's just that when you're calling them in, they're moving in this direction, because this is kind of moving from a page to a knight. So it's an intention that was set, and the development is in the knight. And so you want to use the knights in visual manifestation. So let's say you wanted to call in a partner that was like that you wanted to grow old with, that you wanted to be steady with, long-term relationship. You might want to use the Ace of Cups in the visualization, and also maybe the Knight of Pentacles, because he's more grounded. It takes more time. Maybe you want to call in a very sensual and emotional lover. You want to use the Knight of Cups for that. If you wanted to call in like, you know, a fuck buddy or something, maybe you want to use the Knight of Wands, or somebody that is going to take your journey, or like go with you on a journey. But just be mindful, because that, again, the Knight of Pentacles stays longer than the Knight of Wands does, so just be mindful the energy that you're picking as per the card. But let's say you just want to be someone that you can experience something with. Maybe you want to use the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Swords, someone who has a weight of words, or like is funny, or like has like charisma, or, you know, has a specific quirk, you know, something like that. You might want to be using those cards. If you're trying to manifest a job opportunity, you want to work with the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles. If you want to completely do some, you know, protection work in regards to other people, and be really those kind of invisibility spells to your enemies, you might want to use the Two of Swords. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can use the cards like to really fuel your spell work as you're doing it. You're visualizing what it is that you want. You can pull multiple cards together. You can pull this with the oracle decks as well, just to amplify it, and it just helps. It's an amazing way to really kind of hone down your manifestation skills, and use visual tools to help you. And also because tarot's just so pretty to look at, so when everything's like when you're doing a ritual, depending on what ritual it is, I mean, obviously I wouldn't recommend doing this with a water related spell unless, you know, it's safely going to be put away from the water. But when you're doing a ritual and you have that kind of everything laid out, it's kind of similar to almost using different, as far as having the energies of something. So like using herbs, using like different tools like knives and stuff like that, because each card has its own vibration as well. So you just want to make sure that you're kind of using it properly. Okay, I'm trying to put this back in, but it's like taking forever. Okay, there it is. So with an oracle deck, you want to make sure, I cannot stress this enough, because if you do read tarot and you do read oracle decks, you will know that they're very different, okay? Oracle decks tends to be a little bit more direct, and their meanings are definitely already defined for you, versus tarot is more open to the interpretations and your intuition to really come forth and tell you more of what's going on. With oracles, is a lot of the time it's like, okay, this is the card, this is what it means, and here's a paragraph of what it means, and that's what it means, okay? So it's not as flexible what the interpretations are. Now, when you are using oracle decks, this is a really good one. This is by Marcella Kroll. This is the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. I love her. She's so funny. I tell her that all the time. She's so funny. She's amazing, super witch, love her. Her deck is really amazing, especially for meditation and especially for ritual work as well. So you can use all of these cards if you need to. So let's talk about it. So when it comes to oracle decks, because like for this one, for example, because there's different type of oracle decks that you can use, different definitions. If you're using like a love oracle or something like that, then obviously you're trying to focus in on some specific energy. Just be mindful of the symbology that's on it. Like make sure you have a relationship. You still want to have a relationship with a deck that's, I don't know if I need to say it again, okay? But it applies to both decks. But let's say you wanted to do more grounding, you need more stability, you want to work with the earth type of energy. Maybe you want to whip out the grounded card while you're pulling maybe some pentacle cards, and adding that to your spell work, adding herbs to your spell work to assist with that earth energy. Maybe you need a shift, maybe you need something new. You can literally meditate on the symbol while you're doing the spell as well, to amplify the intention. So it's like the cards themselves help to bring a level of, it's almost like energy and focus into the space, because it really does trigger your intuition to kind of go with what you're doing. And while you have these symbols up and around in the space, you're able to really like focus, magnify that energy, call in that energy, have it present. All of these symbols carry a vibration. So if you're doing like divine feminine healing, you're going to want the symbol there. Also, you can like, by all means, like draw it out, put it on a paper if you need to, but using the oracle cards to do it, it's just another way to use your cards that you already have. If you need to release something, you can use this on your altar space while you're doing your spell. If you're trying to call in money or call in like fortune or protection work, you can use these symbols. You can also use these as sigils while you're doing it. There's like a multitude of ways. You got the full moon, you got the new moon in here. So there are multiple different ways to kind of incorporate the oracle decks in here. And you can ask for something to be unveiled, like that's being hidden from you, especially if it's like the truth, if you're doing like communication work, if you're trying to connect with your guys. Like it's just so much endless possibilities of things that you can do with the oracle decks. So I just wanted to give you guys that tip. I'm gonna put up the poll tonight of the next Patreon video, the weekly video poll that they get to vote on, and we'll see what they pick next week for the topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you will incorporate some tarot cards into your practice when it comes to spell work, and find ways to use the tools that you have in different ways. Okay, this is why when it comes to like earth magic, a lot of it goes hand in hand with kitchen witchery and kitchen magic, because a lot of the tools you're using you also cook with. So it's like what those things that you're putting into your body, you can also put into your spell work. So they have multiple purposes. So make sure you're using your tools in very smart ways. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next one. If you want to join the Patreon, the link is down below. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring the bell. Bye.